Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. Guys, today we're going to dive into the altcoins. What I want to do is encourage you to take a look at this altcoin with an open mind, okay? I know what you want to hear. Everybody wants to hear that their coin is going to 50x, 100x. I get it. I want to hear that too, okay? But listen to me. I've been through 3 bull markets, and I'm now in my 3rd bear market, okay? And I'm not saying I'm always correct, okay? But I know how these things go, okay? We're going to look at the coin from a technical standpoint. How many of you a few weeks ago, as your coin was going up 60, 70, 100%, was listening to the influencers telling you this time is different, super cycle, Bitcoin dominance is headed down, alt season is here, blah, 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 blah. And today your coin is probably down 50%, okay? Don't listen to the noise, okay? We're going to look from a technical standpoint, okay? I don't know about your fundamentals of your coin. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. We can't predict what may happen later, what partnerships may come in, what scandals may come up. We can't predict those types of things, but what we can predict and know for a fact are things like tokenomics, circulating supply, technical analysis. Those things don't change. So we can look at it from a technical standpoint and take a realistic approach to what this coin might do. If anything comes later, like some sort of hopium or some sort of deal or some sort of thing like that in the economy with your coin, where it gets worldwide mass adoption, great, that's a bonus. But be prepared for less, okay? Or be prepared for a more realistic target. The biggest mistake I made in my first cycle was listening to everyone else who said that my coin was going to 50, 60x. And as I sat here and watched it 10 and 15x, which was great, I didn't take profit because I was waiting on that 50x because I believed the narrative. And I wound up writing that coin all the way back down and round tripping it, right? I learned from that mistake. If you're not at least open-minded to hearing what a conservative approach would be, then you're only showing your inexperience in this market. So don't be inexperienced. If you are inexperienced, at least try to learn, okay? If I think your coin's going to 100x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 5x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 0, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to keep it real with you. I know I could get way more clicks by just coming in and shouting 100x, but that's not going to serve you anything good in the future. So let's take a realistic approach to these coins, and we'll see if we can figure out where a good bull market top is going to be. Let's take a look at the charts. Here we go. All right, y'all, taking a look at XLM, Stellar Lumens. I am on the weekly Coinbase chart. Now, I actually think Stellar Lumens is a good project and bullish. However, I just don't think your return on investment or your risk to reward is there. Don't shoot the messenger. Let's just look at the data and see what it suggests, and then you can make a decision for yourself. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of my prediction. Also, if you want me to look up any other altcoin, comment it below. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing regular XLM and other altcoin updates as we progress into this cycle. Now, Stellar has been around since about 2014. I'm going to ignore this price action down here where Stellar was sub 1 penny. I don't see us returning there, certainly not anytime soon. So I feel like it is irrelevant to what's going on with XLM these days. So we're going to take a look starting at your all-time high price, which was set in January of 2018. It may vary by exchange, but on Coinbase, you set an all-time high of 93 cents. Now, at that time, you had a market cap of $17.5 billion and a $19 billion circulating supply. Fast forward to 2021, you set a price high. Here's where it gets interesting. A price high of 80 cents. So less than your price high in 2018, but your market cap increased. Your market cap increased by almost $1 billion. But why did price not go as high? It's because your circulating supply increased from 19 billion coins to 23 billion. So you had more money in this asset, but price didn't go up as much because it was being watered down or diluted. This is called token dilution, okay? Looking at 2024, same thing. You set a market cap even higher, $19 billion market cap. So you beat both the previous 2 cycles, which means there's more interest in this coin. More people coming into the coin, more money into the market cap, but your price was significantly less. You only went to 64 cents. It's because you added more coins to the market. You were at 30 billion coins as opposed to 19 and 23 billion the previous 2 cycles. Looking at today, we have a XLM price of about 23 cents. It's kind of dipping on me a little as I record this, but about 23 cents. Market cap of about 7.7 billion, and even more coins, 10% more coins at 33.7 billion. Now, let's look into the future. I estimated the next cycle top being Q4 of 2029. Now, if it tops a little before, a little after, this may be a little different. I understand most alts topped in 2024, so maybe they top in 2028. Bitcoin topped in 2025, 4-year cycle. You do the math. Either way, it's going to be pretty dang close. And you're going to add even more coins, another 10%. So by the time we get to 2029, this likely cycle top, you will have doubled your coins from your price all-time high of 93 cents, which means you're going to have to do double market cap or a $35 billion market cap just to reach 93 cents. That is not very likely. You have had 1, 2, 3 coming into the fourth cycle to do that, and you've not been able to do that. The highest you've gotten is 19 billion. So let's take a look at that on the circulating supply chart. And you can see the bottom line here, the bottom orange line is where you set an all-time high in price. And the top orange line, and the orange lines in between are each cycle, how many coins you had in the market. And it's just a steady increase. And that is the only thing that's weighing down Stellar Lumens. A lot of coins that regress or do a less price high cycle to cycle is because the market cap is lower and interest is waning. That is not the case for Stellar Lumens. Stellar Lumens is actually gaining steam. It's just losing price because of token dilution, adding too many coins to the market. Let's look at that market cap. It's actually pretty close. It looks like a flat top up here where you've pretty much reached 18 to 19 billion each of the 3 previous cycles. So pretty dang close to the same high. So I just don't see why you would do much more than that. However, you are in this nice ascending triangle. I'm not a pattern bro at all. However, ascending and descending triangles are ones that I really pay attention to because those tend to play out more often than not. Now, could Stellar Lumens just come back up here and do this and bounce this for one more cycle and then maybe break out or break down? Sure, it can. However, once you have 3 touches to the high, usually on that 4th touch, you break out. And I'm going to project that Stellar Lumens does break this high this cycle. I'm going to estimate about a $25 billion market cap. The problem, though, is you've doubled your circulating supply. So even though I think you break your 3 times touched all-time high here, it's still going to be watered down with the amount of tokens added to the market. So let's look at my price prediction. For Stellar Lumens in the next cycle, I predict Stellar Lumens will do a $25 billion market cap, which will give it a price of 67 cents. So still not a higher price, even though the asset is bullish. This is where most people are going to get it confused. They're going to say Stellar Lumens is bullish. It is money's coming in, this and that, fundamental this, noise, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I agree with you, but you're adding double the coins, and that's going to weigh your price down, even though I project you do a higher market cap than you've ever done before. You can see you're in this clear, again, not a pattern bro, but you'd be kind of, I don't know, maybe a little foolish to ignore the fact that this is almost a perfect symmetrical triangle. And I'll tell you one thing, if Stellar Lumens just goes back to this this market cap high here, about 18, 19 billion, that it's done 3 cycles in a row. If you just return there, here's what's interesting. That's going to give you a price of 49 cents, which if we extend it out to 2028, 2029, that would be perfect with another touch to the high there. Okay, and that is what you would have, a 49-cent Stellar Lumens if you returned to this trend line for a 4th cycle in a row. Don't think it can't happen. You did it once, twice, 3 times. Why can't it do it a 4th? And if you do break out to that $25 billion mark like I'm projecting, that's only going to give you a price of 67 cents, which does not break your all-time high, but it's not because it's not bullish. I hate to be repetitive, but it's just because you're adding so many coins to the market. It's just weighing down your price, guys. Sorry about that. However, I do think you're going to get a shot at lower prices. Stellar's got a nice little pump in the last few weeks. But if Bitcoin rolls over in Q4 like it always does and sets a new low, you can expect Stellar to come down and set a new low. And I do think you come down and tap this trend line, probably take out these lows, create some bullish divergence, and then move on up. So that is my prediction for Stellar Lumens. I think you're going to get a shot at about a 12... let's call it 12 to 13 cent stellar lumens. And I think you're going to move up to 67 cents, which to me is not a great return on investment. You could get about a 5x out of this, in my opinion, which is, it's bullish. It's market cap bullish. Money coming into the asset. I agree. I just don't think you're going to see the return on your price because of token dilution. I think there are better options out there, but that's for you to decide. I just present the information. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you, and I will see you guys next time.